back online now. So I don't know what happened. There was this pop-up that came up that I'm on an unsecured network. Just killed my session, and I was out. But anyway, yesterday we were talking about the power of unspoken expectations. We are going to be talking about why some people can't meet you where you are, and that's what the topic we had decided yesterday. So let's just get straight into it. So why some people can't meet you where you are? It's not that you're hard to love. They just weren't ready to receive you. And you've been wondering why they pulled away, right? When something like that happens, you always wonder why they pulled away, what changed, why they changed, why it feels like you're too much, too deep, too honest, or too emotional. Why does it feel like that, right? But here's the truth that most people won't tell you. The fact is that you're not too much, right? You were just too available for someone who wasn't emotionally ready. And I have gone through this situation myself a lot of time, right? I make myself available to the people who are seldom there. They're not ready to receive, and they just pull off. And when they pull off, you just wonder what happened, what actually happened in that situation, and you feel confused. So it's time that you stop blaming your depth for the inability, for I would say their inability to swim, right? That's your depth, and they have the inability to swim. Let's take a look at what happens when you keep showing up for people who aren't home, right? Let's talk about what that really feels like. Because I've been there, and I'm sure you have been there, that you keep on showing up for people who are not emotionally present, and then you wonder, why is it like that? Because you open your heart and you get silence. You try to fix things and they dodge it. You bring your whole self to the table and you realize that they're texting under the table. And I'm sure you've been there, right? Not just me. Everybody's been there. Some people there with you. And that feeling of carrying a relationship on your back, that's not love, right? That's a labor. That's how I like to call it. That's emotional labor. And it it becomes a slow death, not a dramatic one, not the explosive, tiring and invisible. And that's what we are going to name today. So you're going to be naming those today. That pain you don't have words for, right? When you're holding the work and they're barely present. When you're doing the work and they're barely present. So today we're going to say it all with love, of course, but absolutely with truth. So, like every day, let's do our grounding ritual, and so that we come home before we embark on our continued journey to understand this topic deeper, right? So, before we go deeper, just breathe with me. So, place one hand on your chest and one on your belly, and close your eyes if it feels okay for you. And then inhale deeply, hold it, and exhale slowly with your mouth. Let's do it one more. Hold, exhale. Let your shoulders drop and let the expectations melt away. You're not here to fight for attention. You're here to be picked. You're here to come home to your center. And right now, this is your center, your heart, your healing. Take a deep and let it out. So, so there's a core shift that we are going to be talking about, and the shift is that their capacity is not your confirmation. So let's talk about it now. Some people simply can't meet you where you are. As simple as this. They just can't. Not because not because you're broken, but because they are unavailable, simply unavailable, emotionally, spiritually, energetically, however you look at it. They're just not there. You're there, you're trying to engage, but they're not there. They might be whatever they may be, but with you, they're not there. And it's not a blame here. They might be stuck in a survival mode, actually, or they may be running their own past, running into their own past, or still trying to to love themselves, to understand themselves. So we are not blaming anybody here, right? But here's where we get stuck. I mean, they have their own life. They may be not available for the reasons of their own, but we get stuck because we take their emotional inavailability and turn it into a reflection of our worth. That's what happens, and that is what the problem is. And that's what I'm trying to talk about here today. So we take their emotional inability and we seem that that is somehow a reflection of our own worth. And we start asking questions like, do I say, or should I have waited? Was I too intense in my communication? You were honest, you were real, you were ready, and they were not ready. So, assuming that you find yourself in this situation, what do you do? What is it that you can do to overcome this? So, let's get into three truths that will shift the way you see these relationships forever. And that's what I have done with myself also. I sat down and I went through this whole process myself. And this is what I'm trying to share with you here. And I came up with a couple of insights, and I'm going to share three with you for today's live. So, insight number one is that emotional readiness is not a reflection of your value. That's what we said earlier also. The emotional readiness is not a reflection of your value. So, say it with me. Their silence, I'm unworthy, right? Just because someone can't meet you meet your emotional depth doesn't mean your feelings are too big, right? It just means that they don't have the bandwidth, and you deserve someone who can hold that space, not escape it. right? So that is insight number one, that their emotional readiness is not a reflection of your value. That I gained from working on this topic is that some love is meant to be a lesson, not a lifetime. Now I know this stings, right? But that's the reality. Some relationships were never meant to stay. They were meant to show you what you don't want anymore, what patterns you've you've outgrown, what truths you were you were too scared to name before. You see, not every bond is forever, and that's okay. We need to understand. For me, it was not okay. It was not okay to get to a point that not every bond is forever. For me, any connection that I established, I sort of married um, to that relationship, and I made absolutely sure, fully and 100% committed. And even though in the back of my mind I was saying that, you know, it does not matter to me whether they reciprocate in the same manner or not, but somehow, and I wasn't aware that this is what's happening in my energy, I had that expectation. And when it was not met, obviously it was unspoken. When it was not met, I had issues. And they were my issues. They were not anybody else's issues. They were my issues because I had held tightly to those relationships. I was thinking that they are forever. They are with me. I am with them forever. Why would they not be for me or with me? But I realized that this is not true when some of the closest relationships that I had in my life, they just vanished like this. And they vanished not because of what I said or did or what I did not say or did not do, but because of someone else who got involved in that. And you must have seen that in your life also. There come a point where some people tend to listen to a lot of other people, and they get confused about a relationship and it ends. This happened to me, and I was not prepared for it. A point where I was constantly thinking, why it's happening, and I could not find an answer. I worked on myself. I elevated my energy to a level where I could understand it clearly, and I am at peace today. And that is the peace that I want to share with you. And one of the key insights was that not every relationship is bound to be with you forever, and that is okay. That is fine. You don't owe the lifelong access to people who only gave you a part-time presence, right? You don't. So that was insight 2, and insight 3 was you can sing those who refuse to stand still, fickle-minded, right? If you're always the one initiating the check-ins, right, finding solutions, asking to talk, that's not a relationship, that's not a friendship, right? Or that's not a relationship. It could be a friend, it could be a family member, it could be a brother or a sister or a wife, whoever, right? If you're the only one checking in, finding solutions and trying to talk and make help things progress, and the other person is completely absent or barely get involved, that is not a relationship. That is a one person performance. And honestly, you were never meant to audition for love, right? That's not where you wanted to be. In a relationship, for it to grow in a healthy manner, the engagement has to happen from both the sides. I remember, especially with my, I mean, I've already told you how things went with my siblings. I would call them, I would never get a call back. I would try to go reach out and figure out, okay, where they are, what they are doing in their life, how their life is going on, but I would never get a response back or a call in order for them to understand where I am in my life. Same thing with my friends. And that's why I have a very, very limited, I would say, very limited circle, because I realized that I happen to be the person who would always reach out, who would always visit them, talk to them, you know, engage with them, see how I could be of help in their life, or just because the kind of person I am that always feels good in the engagement when I know that the person I am with is happy, healthy, and making progress in their life. I really want to understand it. I give my time, I give my energy, and I realize that I was the only person doing it. The other person is either not present or they would never engage back. So if I stop today, and I did that, if I stop today and not visit the friends who had been visiting regularly, months would pass by, not a text, not a phone call, nothing. Not that I'm expecting, but that's what I'm saying right now. That if it is a one sided or one person performance, that's not a relationship, right? It's a performance that's doing, dancing around in the circle, and that's not where you want to be if you call it a healthy relationship, right? So I want you to understand this very clearly, and then we will move on to the soul questions, the soul questions that we've been doing in the last couple of lives. So I know I've been going fast, so let's slow it down and turn inward for a minute, right? Because this next part is just for you. So like we always do, we're going to do three soul questions. And question number one is, who in your life are you trying to pull closer when they keep pulling away? This is exhausting, right? You believe it or not, you may like it initially, that you are the one reaching out, you're the one making sure things go proper. You are the one who makes everybody happy in the group. You may feel you may feel that you are the one who is people together, but when they keep pulling away, it can be exhausting. So who in your life are you trying to pull closer when they keep pulling away? Question number one. Question two, what are you pretending not to know about their ability to meet you? Because a lot of times what happens is we tend to ignore. And we can it's fine to ignore, one time, two time, three time. But when you keep on doing that over and over again, your starts to, and your energy is all about connection, right? And you are ignoring the connection. So on the face of it, it might look absolutely fine that you don't care, but there will come a point where you will start caring. And by that time you would have invested so much time in that relationship one-sidedly, that when it comes to a point where they're not available, you feel hurt. They may have got busy with their life, that's true, but you were never their priority anyways. So they got busy, you are the first one who gets, cut off from their life. Not that they don't breathe, not that they don't eat, don't visit other friends that they feel, you know um, to be around in that moment of their life. But do they stop connecting with their families or the people who they love? No. So if you were feeling that you were their family, and you felt good in that connection, and you were feeling okay, this is a good relationship to have. But then when the time comes for them to get busy with something else, and you are the first one to be out, you can ignore that for a little bit. But when you keep on doing that over and over again, your energy will notice it, and it's not going to like it. And that's where you will have the problems. So, what are you pretending not to know about their ability to meet you? Question three: if you stop chasing them, what space might open up in your life? It is pointless trying to set a relationship straight when it was not meant to be there at all, right? You will come across so many relationships, family, in your friendship, that were just there for the moment. But here you are, giving all your life to it, and then you feel hurt at a certain point, because even though they showed in that moment that you are everything to them, when some life situation changes and they're gone, you start to question what happened to you are everything to me, because you were committed, you gave your soul and heart to that relationship, but they were not there actually. They were just there because that's a custom. A society, builds that custom around us, so that you are always, appreciating someone in the relationship. Superficial in appreciation, that does not count, right? If it does not, if the relationship does not connect with the heart, it's pointless to have that relationship. Pointless. So if you stop chasing those kind of relationships, what space might open up in your life for some meaningful, tangible relationships? What will happen? Right? Write it down. Say it loud, and let it break something in you. You will right there is so much that we carry that we don't intend to. Consciously, it lingers on in our life, and it weighs us down over time. because the meaningful connections are not there, the connections that actually uplift you as a spirit, as a energy, as a human. When those kind of foundational relationships are missing, and the relationships are only superficial, you know then it hurts. Not use yourself as a human, but yourself as a energy as well, because you came here for those connections, you came here for those experiences. Those are the foundations for a fruitful and fulfilling life experience, relationships. And if they are based on slippery grounds, and ready to any day, what good or what purpose do they serve in your life? And if you stop chasing them, what space might open up in your life? So, three questions, right? So, write them down, write the answers, read it, and reflect on it. See where it leads you. See, you will realize where you are spending most of your time. And do those people actually deserve your time or not? I have taken back a lot from from people. Not that they don't deserve it, but because I realized that perhaps there is something more to it. And when I took my time back, nobody cared, as if I wasn't even existing in their experience, life experience. And here I was, walking into their life every alternate day to see how they're doing. So you will get a lot of time back. You will have a lot of time to spend on your upgrade, your energy upgrade, your elevation of the energy, so that you can become a person who can then extend your hands, extend your life to uplift others. If you are there on the ground, how are you going to help anybody uplift? You have to get there first and then pull someone up. So take back your time, take back the control of your life by actually investigating as to who you are spending your time with, and is it a rewarding experience, a relationship that you really want in your life or not. Most of the time we don't think about it, we just go with the flow, right? That's what happens. Here he comes, okay, spending time with them. Here he they come, spending time with them. Then the third one comes, spending time with them. And slowly and gradually the whole circle eats up your time, and they're not even the relationship that actually have any solid foundation for you in their life. So I want you to think about it. So let's do um, a micro transformation practice. Like another thing that we've been doing it, but that's the title we are going to give it now, and we'll call it the mirror letter. Okay, so today, write a letter to, not to them, of course, right? Write a letter to yourself, a letter that says, I see the parts of me I was hoping they'd recognize. I see my effort. I see my effort, my heart, my truth. I choose me fully, deeply, and without apology. Because the truth is that in order to maintain those kind of relationships, or any relationship, it needs effort, right? You have to invest your energy, your mind, your time in those. And in that process, we, most of the time, people who are committed to their relationships, they tend to ignore their own needs. So they ignore the parts of their own self that actually need their attention. So this letter is for those parts of you that needed those, that kind of an attention. And that's why I'm saying start it like that. Parts of me I was hoping they'd recognize. I see my effort, my heart, my truth, and I choose myself fully. And no one else did it, okay? But you read it and need to feel it. So I want you to write this letter today and see how you reflect on it, and then share your reflection in the group. And let this be the day you stop fighting to be seen and start seeing yourself first, right? Because if you are ignoring yourself to take care of someone else, you are doing a greatest disservice to the soul, to the energy that you came here as. You were not born to take care of others. You were born to lead a fulfilling life that could actually include helping others, include taking care of others, but that is not the focus. Your focus when you came here in to live in this world was to live your life, not anybody else's life, not for someone else, not even for your parents, not even for your siblings, not even for your friends, not even for your wife or husband, anyone. You came here to live your life, and that is the only person you ignore. Or I would say that's the first person you ignore, others. Well, if you have not taken care of your own self, how are you going to take care of anybody in your life, anyways? Right? You cannot get sick enough to make anybody healthy. You cannot get poor enough to make anybody wealthy. So, not taking care of yourself is never going to end up in a very positive experience, life experience, or fulfilling experience. Never. You have to take care of yourself, your soul, your energy first. Elevate yourself. That elevation, the kind of energy that you emit and the kind of energy that you interact with in the same people is going to be different. You will realize that when you elevate yourself to the level where you are in harmony with the energy that you came here as, you will realize that you will also be in harmony with the people who you are interacting with, because they would be the people putting meaning in your life and you're doing the same thing in theirs, right? So let this be the day where you stop fighting to be seen, to be heard, to be understood. Forget about that. Just start seeing yourself, just start understanding yourself, just start feeling yourself first. Know yourself to know anybody else, because everybody else is just a reflection of you and your energy anyways. You ignore yourself, they ignore you. You take care of yours, of yourself, well, you know the next. So I really want you to do this exercise today and see where it lands in your heart, and then share what happened, what moved in you, right? So tomorrow we are going to be stepping into something just as raw as it was today. And I'm sorry if it was too much raw for some people. Um, but like I said, you know, I just share what comes to my heart at any given point. I just know what title, what subject that I want to speak about, but I don't plan, you know, I just say it because I believe that whatever will flow through me is going to be for somebody who is in need to hear this in in that moment of their life, right? If you're listening to this, you are the one who is ready to receive it. If you're not ready to receive it, this video or audio or whatever form that it comes to you in will not even appear in your experience. So if you are a witness to this experience, to this live, to this telecast, replay, whatever, then it means something there in your life. So that's how I do the live, right? I just let my thoughts flow, and then I just let them out and be received by whoever is ready to receive it. So they may at times might feel raw, and I am not going to apologize for that because this is how it came to me. Bring it. If you choose not to listen to it or see it, that's fine. So tomorrow we are going to talk about when the apology never comes, how do you let go without closure? This is one thing that a lot of people struggle with, right? They are constantly looking for an apology to have a closure in their own life. They cannot move forward, or they get stuck at a point looking for it. And it's interesting how sometimes it happens that he actually apologizes for the actions that they have committed, against you or whatever. And if you have actually forgiven them, you do move forward. So somehow there is always this tendency to look for the apology first, for us to have a closure and then move forward in our life. What if you don't need that closure? What if you still are able to move forward no matter what is happening around you? That is going to be the topic for tomorrow. When an apology never comes, how to let go without closure. Because healing isn't about isn't about waiting, all right? It's about reclaiming your peace, your space, your heart. Even if the other person never gives you the ending you were hoping for, your whatever you were expecting. What if they never give it to you? Are you going to end your life? Are you going to struggle for the rest of your life? What are you going to do? Your life was meant to be lived by you. So why do you have to stop it because of someone else? You are you, so you move forward. So that's what we're going to go on and talk about tomorrow. Again, if today's live spoke something in you, right? Like I always say, don't just watch it. Do something with it, right? Like it. Drop some reflections that you did that came to your mind. I know Sharon is one who talks to me on sometimes, and on the replays also. She also texts me her thoughts, her poems also. You might have seen actually, she writes poems on the topic that she's feeling, that we are discussing, and then she converts them into a poem. And I get moved by those poems so much that I just feel that I need to give voice to it, and I just move it into a song, or turn it into a song. And till now, she's been like loving it, and that has been a very good experience. That sure, she is one of the examples right there, that is actually looking at this, getting some benefit from this, reflecting on it, sharing it with us, and then making a progress in her own life. And I learn a lot from her also. It's not that I am the only one speaking. I learn from each one of you, from your comments to your silence. I learn from everything. So it's not only what you speak that I learn from, I also learn from what you don't speak, what you don't say. And I would say, and I would encourage you to do that, because when you share, you not only yourself to the next level, you also lend your hands, helping hands, to help someone else in your life. So that's why I always say that share it with someone who has been looking for this kind of information, right? And especially for this, share it with someone who has been holding too much for too long, right? Someone who really needs to listen to this message. Share it with them and join the Healing Siblings community, the Siblings Bonds Facebook group that we have. And, and never forget our real mission here. And the mission is hope. Help one person every day. And maybe today, that person is you. And maybe tomorrow, it is someone who finds this information because you shared it, right? So, with absolute raw honesty and all my heart, I thank each one of you for mission, this live that I'm doing every day. And I honestly am grateful to have you all around with me on this mission and this journey. All right. So this is going to be it for today. And I apologize that I'm 30 minutes late today. It could happen that I may be, off track on next couple of days also on timing for next couple of days also, because we are traveling, and like I said, we may have internet issues. So I will try to make sure that I get online at a place where I can find a stable internet connection. But other than that, my commitment is to connect with you every day, and I will. All right. Have a good evening, have fun, have a blessed day, and may you get whatever your heart is looking for. All right. Have a good day. Bye.